Whatever is done in a company has to add value to the end customer. To get an overview of how every effort any person in the company does adds value, simple value chains can be drawn. A value chain is a picture of how products or people are processed and where a product at the end of the value chain is delivered to a customer in return for a payment. Examples of value chains can be production, service, sales, and customer. Or a manager leading managers, the middle manager, employee, and customer. Each of the arrows symbolizes a shift in departments or people. It is a touch point where the responsibility for a delivery or customer contact changes hands or where someone is influencing someone else. Let's look at some examples and start with this value chain. The goods that the customers are willing to pay for are bread and cakes from a bakery in a department store. The production is taking place in a separate room behind the desk, where the bread is handed out. The service is done by two persons handing fresh bread and cakes over the counter and cutting the bread for the customers if they prefer that. At the same time, they fill shelves with fresh bread and cakes for the customers to take by themselves. The sales is done at the cashiers when the customer has found whatever they want to buy from the store. The salespersons receive payments from the customers and reminds the customers that bread number 2 is for half price. Would you like to buy one more? And finds a second bread if the customer is willing to buy more. All value chains should be connected and in the end add value to the customer. The customer is at any time the one deciding whether there is value for money or not, and whether to buy or not. Here's another example. The salesman is responsible for fulfilling customer needs and meeting business goals. The first line manager is responsible for setting a clear direction and to help people to develop themselves to be able to perform even better. The second line manager is responsible for setting a clear direction and help the first line managers to develop themselves and ensure training and development of employees. This value chain is most probably connected to other value chains and maybe with other responsibles. The connection could be to other departments, for instance, production, service, controllers, transportation, or call center. Any manager is responsible for his or her part of the total value chain and responsible for continuous improvements of all processes, no matter the importance or size of the process. At the same time, the manager is responsible for asking questions to departments connected to his or hers, like, why are we doing it in this way? Why are we doing it at all? This way the company avoids doing things that are done just because we have always done it this way. Things do change and sometimes we do things that are not needed anymore. The units closest to the customers are most often the ones that are most passionate about customer demands, needs and dreams. It often comes in this order: sales, service, production and central support units. All four should be equally dedicated since it is the same hand feeding them, the customers. If the customers are not willing to buy, the company will no longer exist. Unfortunately, it is most common in companies that each team member commits to oneself, then the team, and maybe to a nearby unit. The further away a person is from the end customer, the harder it is to get to know what personal difference he or she does to the customer. Think about your own value chain. Where's the end customer? Are you close to or far away? Who is close to? Who is far away? How do you want it to be? What will you do about it? Draw a mind map of all value chains around you, or maybe for the whole company as such. Find out what people do, how you are supported by technical solutions, how people's mindset and behavior are, when and how there are touch points between people, when there's waste like double work, transportation, and waiting time. Draw an as-is picture and to-be picture to discover how you can best surprise your customer with the company's deliveries and how you can improve the company's chances of being relevant to the customers in the future. Enter the leadership path, lead and manage strategies, and the topic lean to learn more about continuous improvements of value chains. Once you have drawn the picture, you might have to wonder why. Involve the organization and ask why, what, how, when, where, and who to find out where the improvements are. Any improvement can mean a cheaper product, a better quality, a faster delivery, a better overview, a faster service recovery, lesser touch points for the customer, a shorter way from customer demands to new innovative deliveries, a more competitive company, and a more reliable company. Once you involve the managers and employees in drawing and improving the value chain, you inspire people to want to make the company even better fit for the future. The employees know best how to make improvements. One of the more interesting examples of not having drawn a value chain is from the Greek state that during the crisis in 2011 discovered that they for decades had been paying out salary to employees to take care of a railroad that did not exist anymore. When you draw your hierarchical value chains, for example, manager, employee, and customer, you can benefit from looking at it backwards. Customer. What kind of great customer experience are we looking for? Employee. What kind of employees do we need that are passionate about delivering that kind of great customer experience? First line manager. What kind of manager do we need to inspire people and who are passionate about telling the company story about this kind of great customer experience, and who is also passionate about helping people to develop themselves to excel? Second line manager. What kind of manager do we need that are able to inspire first line managers to tell the story about great customer experiences, and who can help the first line managers with coaching and feedback when developing and training his or her employees? This value chain can have a third and maybe a fourth and fifth line manager, and the mindset and behavior of each of them has to add value to the end customer's experience. If you are managing managers, you can enter the leadership path Lead and Manage Managers to learn more about responsibilities attached to leading and managing managers in the value chain. If you have a manager leading and managing you, you may benefit by entering the leadership path Lead and Manage Upwards to learn more about how you and your manager can work together to support great customer experiences and lead information in the value chain.